What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. It's so pathetic. It is so pathetic when the meta fakes try to come at you and they're going to get exposed for being the non-elite that they claim to be. Because I've stated multiple times, unless you optimize, unless you know the numbers, you're not elite. This game is not hard. One time it was insanely a lot different. The difficulty prior Atlantis was just noticeable. But a Zaayso, and I'm going to actually call him out. I'm actually going to link the video I'm referring to in the description, along with encouraging you all to go check out his builds, because this dude claimed that trolls have the same amount of health as a tank, thus giving out the more might buff over on Tet than the tank. That's the claim. Now, here's the deal. I'm on my main troll. Now, I main a healer, but this is my main troll. And I have all of my infinities unlocked. All of them. Now, Zaayso didn't take it. He's like, I counted infinity mods. Dude, you're trying to tell the entire community that you don't put vitalization on your trolls. Go look at his builds that he posted before. He did not spec health on his trolls. And no troll fucking would. There's not a troll in the universe that is going to spec health to maximize tetrahedron. Why? Because the simple fact of it is, the rest of his buffs and debuffs are affected by his vitality. And his power output comes from its vitality. Right? So his power outage and a lot of his stat adjustments are vitality derived. Not health. Not health. And I have the affinities here that give me 2% additional vitality on top of my SP and any other bonuses. So you're going to tell me that in your generator mod, a troll is going to sacrifice his power modifiers and his power modifiers for health? Is that what you're claiming, Zaayso? You're claiming they're going to modify health versus overpower. And they're going to take health over vitality for their affinity. And then on top of it, you're telling me on their chest piece, they're going to go hardy over the supercharge, which affects their power supercharge? Get the fuck out of here, dude. No way. No way, no how. But it's better because trolls have the same amount of health. Now, mind you, this dude has way more. He's a higher CR than my tank, has more affinity, and he's only sitting prior to 103. 1,000,000 and 34,000. Yeah. So, dude, what in the fuck are you talking about? No, my tank's got way more health because of the affinity and the hardy. And then add the Dillistil, which, go look at his builds once again, because I've said, and I did make a mistake, somebody pointed out. I said Cog, but what I meant was the Entwined Rings of Azar. To get the maximum out from Tetrahedron, a healer should be using Starheart. A troll should be using the Entwined Rings of Azar. Because this buffs... Now, I typically don't use this. I actually slot Tet on my troll because most tanks don't use it. So I'm obligated to slot Tetrahedron on my troll because of the dumbass tanks being stupid. So I'm just using this as an example at the moment, showing I have it. So if I see a tank with Tetrahydron, well, shit, I'm going to use the Entwined Rings of Azar to buff up his TED output. Because when the healer's using Starheart, I'm using Rings of Azar, he's using Dillastil and Tet. The group is magnifying everybody's health and pushing out more on Tetrahydron. Zaayso, what's up, dude? You trying to expose me, but you only expose yourself. Because I'm going to get on my tank here. So we've got this, right? I'm just showing it. Right? Now, mind you, just out of shits and giggles. Let's say I put on the Tetrahydron. I got a bunch of shit in my bag. Tons of stuff. There's my Tetrahydron. So, and it's low. Because, you know, like I said, I don't take anything serious. But, you know, I'm just doing it for shits and giggles. Okay. So. Okay, there's my might. But look, my health, even with the buff. Okay. So, using a group power heal. So, I got to use a group power heal. And I'm going to get the might buff from the other thing, too. Shit. But there's my health now. 105. Now, it'll go up. This will go up to a total of 20%. It will. And this will go up to 2%. Right? But once again, I'm just exposing Zaayso for the fake he is. Now, sure, he gets content done. But dude on healers is sitting on cooldown. Go watch his stream. Dude is sitting on cooldown because he overstacks supercharge on healers. He does not have Starheart. He does not have Rings of Azure. He doesn't even use Dillastil on tanks. This dude he's not supportive of the roles the way he claims to be. He's not. He's a cookie cutter. And it shows. Hell, I'd even encourage you to go look at his SP. I will put anything that this dude stacks SP. Now, before I do anything, let's take a look at my health. Dude, I'm sitting at 131. 1,315,000. I'm sorry, 1,300,000. I'm 300,000 more health than my troll, and I have a less CR and less affinity bonus. Dude! What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? So, when I come over here to the mods, right? I'm going to put the affinity healths because I'm using Tet. Right? Trolls aren't going to. I'm going to stack health. Right? Duh. So, and then when I come back into my spreadsheet, my health, there's my health. There's my might. And mind you, I'm getting an additional might from Pages of the Black, but that works in conjunction with Tet. So, dude, like, it's noticeable. Hitting an enemy with a pull. See? Now we'll wait for that to drop off. See? So it goes from 131 to 130. 1,315,000 to 1,304,000. So yeah, dude, you're insane. Like, there's no way. No, nobody's debating. I've said this in the videos. No one is debating if trolls give 2 times. It's in the description. It's in the description. The problem you have, right, is pushing out the TED. Now, mind you, if I had a healer with Starheart, I had a troll with Rings of Azure, and I have this maxed, right? My health then scales percentage based on my affinity and my hardy. Because I'm using hardy on my chest. Right? I'm using health. I'm using a health modifier on my chest. I'm using health modifiers for my affinity. Trolls ain't doing that. So that's a total of 7%. That's a total of 7% adjustment that gets bumped. On top of adding the effects like Dillastil, Starheart, Rings of Azure. All to push out the bonuses from Tetrahydron. But none of these meta players are playing with those configurations anymore. They haven't for a while. So you got a buff that isn't being applied. So yes, a troll is going to push out more if it's spec'd into health. But to say that a troll and a tank have the same amount of health is a lie. To say a troll and a tank are going to spec the same, for a troll to lose out on the other buffs and the power output for specking for Tetrahydron would be ludicrous. It wouldn't make sense. So I'm calling out Zaayso. I'm calling him out. You said trolls have more health, thus have the same amount of health as tank, thus push out more because of the 2-time modifier. Obviously, dude, you just got exposed right here on the stat sheet. If you spec troll into health as a into your generator mods, you just exposed yourself for not specking a troll in any of the build configurations that you've provided in the past. You get called out, dude. Don't come at me unless you've done it. Because, you know, I was in the test during Atlantis. You know, I was there. I was in the... I was playing PC before the merger. Because PS players didn't even have access to the test. It was only PC players. And I was there testing these arts when they first got put out. With the new raid, new content, new configuration, all that. So don't think about it, dude. You don't even think that you're coming at me without me firing back. Because I just exposed you as a liar. Like I said, nobody's saying there's counter to the description. The question is, can a troll justify the slot? If not, the tank has a significant amount of health that's going to be applied. When you bump the tank's health with the other artifacts, the modifier, the 7% modifier to his health, is going to reflect the output of Tetrahydron. Duh. Good luck, dude. But if you ask me, you're nothing but a chump.